Hello and welcome to Barbershop Books Story Time with Alvin Irby. That's me. Today's story is a super cool story. I think you're going to like it. It's about a drummer. And not just any drummer, but a super duper famous drummer. And his name is Tito Puente. If you look at the cover, you can see him playing with drums and sticks and all other types of instruments that he's using to keep the beat. So, are you ready to learn about Tito Puente? Oh wait, I think I left off part of the title. Tito Puente, Mambo King. Mambo, that's a type of music that's played in lots of Spanish-speaking countries. Let's hop into the story. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, clap your hands for Tito Puente. The Mambo King plays and sways as people dance the mambo, the rumba, and the cha-cha. And as you can tell, that's kind of the way an announcer sounds like before a show. And if you look at the picture, well, guess what? There's an announcer right there. How can you tell? Well, he's standing in front of a microphone on a stage. That's kind of what announcers do sometimes. But he has his arm up and his hand up, which to me suggests that maybe he's inviting someone to come to the stage. And as you can see, there are people dancing to the sound of the music. And there are different instruments, right? I see a drum, boom, right here. And I see a trumpet. Now, those are instruments that are used when people play mambo, rumba, or the cha-cha. And look, there are even sounds that the drums make. Toom tick tack a tick, toom tick, tom tom. Those are kind of like sounds that a drum might make. Before he could walk, Tito was making music. So he was a baby making music? Did you make music as a baby? He banged spoons and forks on pots and pans, window sills and cans. And so here's a little picture of little Tito Puente with spoons. And what is he doing? He's hitting them against pots and pans to make cool sounds. And look, you can tell that he's in a big city because there are all these large buildings outside. I think there may even be a bird who's enjoying the music. Do you see the bird? Birds make music of their own, but they also enjoy listening to other music, I guess. All right, let's keep on reading. He was so loud, his neighbors in Spanish Harlem said, "Wait a minute, Spanish Harlem, that's where I live. I live in the exact same neighborhood where Tito Puente lived." Wow, that's kind of cool. He was so loud, his neighbors in Spanish Harlem said, "Get that boy some music lessons." And that is exactly what his mother did. Oh, that's really cool. So now, Tito Puente, while he's a kid, he's taking music lessons. What instrument do you think that he's taking music lessons for? Do you think he's taking music lessons for the trumpet? What about music lessons for the piano? Well, in this picture, I do see a piano in the corner. Do you see it? It's right here. You can tell because it's wooden and it has white keys. There's also this thing. I think it's called a metronome. All I know is that it goes tick, 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 and it helps the musicians keep time so that they don't go too fast and they don't go too slow while they're playing music. But it looks like there's a teacher right here, and what is Tito Puente doing? It looks like he's playing a drum. So, based on this picture, I think that he got music lessons for drums. If you could get music lessons for any instrument in the whole wide world, what instrument would you like to learn how to play? Would you want to learn how to play the drums like Tito Puente? Or would you like to learn how to play another type of instrument, like a piano, or a trumpet, or a trombone? There are so many different types of instruments. Let's see what happens next. Tito loved to dance too. Tap, tippy, tap, tip, tap, tap. Look, there are people looking and pointing. What do you think they're looking and pointing at? Yep, it's Tito Puente dancing. Man, I wish I could see his feet move. I bet they move really fast and really smooth and probably really cool. I like to dance sometimes. What do I know how to dance? Well, I know how to dance salsa. I know how to dance bachata, merengue. Those are dances that people love to do in a lot of Spanish-speaking countries and in a lot of countries around the world where maybe the people don't even speak a lot of Spanish. You don't have to speak Spanish to be able to learn different types of dances. All you need to do is have a passion and practice and someone to teach you. Let's find out what happens next with Tito Puente. Every year, his church held a Stars of the Future contest. Stars of the Future? Like superstars? That would be cool. It makes me think about shows on TV, you know, where people come together and they show their talents and then they choose whoever they think is the best performer. I wonder if it was something like that. Little Tito danced and spun and tapped and drummed, and Tito won. Wow. Even as a little kid, he won like a talent contest. That's really cool. I think his music lessons paid off. He was named King of the Stars. Over the years, Tito became king 4 times. So he didn't just participate in this talent competition once. He participated in it 4 different times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And guess what? He won those 4 times. Well, I don't know. Maybe he actually participated more than 4 times. But it says in the book that he won 4 different times. 4 different years. How cool is that? All right. Well, here's a picture of the church. And look, he's running out and he's super duper excited. And what is he holding? Can you see? It's a drum. And why would Tito Puente be holding a drum? Well, because he loves to play the drums, of course. And look, there's someone holding him up. And they even have a sign in Spanish that says El Rey. Do you know what that means in Spanish? It just means the king. And look, he has a crown that looks super cool. And he has some drumsticks in his hands. And someone's holding him up super duper high in the sky. Wow. How do you think Tito Puente felt after winning the talent competition 4 different years? He must have been super duper duper excited. Let's see what happens next with Tito Puente. Bam! Slam! When he wasn't playing music, Tito played baseball with sticks on the streets of his neighborhood. Oh, that's super cool. So he really liked baseball. I know that in some places in Spanish Harlem, people come together and they play stickball. It's kind of like baseball, except instead of using a baseball bat, you use a large stick. And I'm not sure if they use a baseball or if they use another type of ball. I think it's another type of ball. But either way, we have just learned that Tito Puente loved to play baseball out in his neighborhood. That's cool. Did you know that you can do many different kinds of things? You can play an instrument and you can play sports. You can like to read and you could like to watch movies. You can like to write. You can like to sing. There's so many different types of things that a kid could like to do. You don't have to just like one thing. You could like many things, just like Tito Puente. Let's see what happens next. Tito performed at parties, restaurants, and clubs. His first band was called Los Happy Boys, and their music made people happy. You know what? I think that is one of the things that musicians really like. A musician, that's just someone who plays music. I think musicians like to make people happy. Wow. He's moving so fast. His arms are moving so fast, it almost looks like he has more than 2 arms. But that's just because he's moving so fast when he's hitting the drums. Oh, and look, there's someone else who's playing congas. Do you see them? That's another type of musical instrument. All right, let's find out what else is happening with Tito Puente. During World War II, Tito was in the Navy. He joined the ship's band and learned to play the saxophone and write music. I didn't know that Tito Puente played the saxophone. Wow, so he plays the drums and he plays the saxophone and he learned how to write music. Well, that's super cool. After the war, Tito went to the Juilliard School of Music and dreamed of having his own band. The Juilliard School of Music? Do you know about the Juilliard School of Music? That's like the best music school in the whole wide world. Only the best of the best of the best musicians go to the Juilliard School of Music. So Tito Puente, he must have been a really, really good musician. It seems like when he joined the Navy during World War II, it gave him an opportunity to learn a new instrument and to learn more about music. How cool is that? Did you know that you can go to school and learn about music? Well, that's exactly what Tito Puente did after World War II. Cool. On weekends, Tito played magical mambos and beautiful cha-chas with different bands at the Palladium Ballroom in New York City. That's where I live, in New York City. People love dancing to salsa and the rhythms of Tito and his timbales. Still, he wished he could be the band leader. So, here's a picture of the Palladium. Remember, it was a ballroom. What is a ballroom? Well, a ballroom is like a huge room that has a lot of open space, like a huge dance floor. And sometimes there may be tables or chairs around the walls, but a ballroom is usually a place where people come to gather for parties, like a dance party, or for large celebrations, like maybe like a wedding party or something like that. And it's usually super duper fancy. And so if you can look, can you see it? There are people dancing. And look, I think this is the sound of Tito Puente coming out of the room and going out into the neighborhood. Wow, that's super duper fun. Tito's dream finally came true when he led his very own big band, the Tito Puente Orchestra. He wrote music and recorded more than 100 albums. Not 100 songs, 100 albums. That's a lot of music. He made music with Celia Cruz, Santana, and La Lupe. Wow. He performed with a lot of different musicians. And look, can you find Tito Puente? Well, of course, he's in the middle playing the drums. And here are some of the other musicians that they mentioned. Santana, well, he played the guitar. And Celia Cruz, well, she was the queen of salsa and she loved to sing and dance. And guess what? Tito Puente played with all of them. Did you know that if you get really good at something, anything, it could be the drums, it could be science, it could be writing. If you get good at anything, other people want to work with you because they like your talent and they're like, wow, it would be so cool to do something with this person who's so good at that. So just remember that no matter what you like to do, if you get really good at it, people will probably start to pay attention. When the Tito Puente Orchestra played, the tambourines sounded like rain on metal roofs. Oh, wow. And look, there's a kid sitting on a metal roof playing a tambourine. And there's a guy over here playing a trumpet. And there's another guy down here playing a saxophone. And do you see the little kid with the tambourines? Super cool. There's so many different types of music instruments that someone can play and learn how to play. The horns blew high and loud and strong and low. The claves smacked clackety, clackety, clack, clack. And everyone's feet went tappity tap. Best of all, Tito played the timbales. And look, here's pictures of Tito. He's the gray-haired guy right here playing the timbales. And then here's someone playing the claves. They're like thick blocks of sticks that make that sound that you just heard. Clickety clack, clack, clack. That's usually the sound that it makes. But I guess you can make other sounds too. All right. Whoa, this page is cool. Normally, when you look at a page, it's side to side. But this page is up and down. That's cool. Let's see what it says. Thank you. Gracias. In 1979, Tito won a very special award called a Grammy. Well, a Grammy is like a really big deal for musicians. It's like the best. It's like the best kind of music award ever almost. The first of 5. Wow. So he won 5 Grammy awards. It was a way of saying, thank you, Tito. Thank you, Mambo King. Thank you for making us want to dance and sing. And look, if you look closely, you can see Tito Puente holding up a Grammy Award. Wow. Tito Puente was a pretty cool guy who played music, drums really, really well. The dancers twirled, the lights swirled, and the mambo went on and on. And look, you can see the people dancing and the kids dancing. There's even a cow dancing? And he's dancing with maracas. When you shake them, they go shh, 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 shh. Can cows dance? I don't know. And look, what do you see here? Well, you see Tito Puente moving his hands and his arms super duper fast as he hits those drums. I think his eyes are even closed. Have you ever been into something so much that you close your eyes? Well, it looks like Tito Puente is having a lot of fun while he plays. And guess what? That's the end of today's story. But do you want to see an actual picture of Tito Puente? Look, here's a picture right here. That's what he looked like. Well, thank you so much for listening to Barbershop Books Story Time. If you would like to learn more information about Barbershop Books, you can visit our website at barbershopbooks.org. You can also connect with us on social media at Barbershop Books. Well, until next time, bye.